Hi YouTube, welcome back to Wtf Rc Cars. So we got another very interesting update from Flysky today. It is the Flysky Assistant version 3, and I think most of you'll agree this is a massive step forward in usability for the Flysky controllers. So this will work with the Paladin 18, the Paladin EV I believe, the MB4 and the Noble Pro. So I'll run you through where to download this from, because at the minute it's only really available for the Paladin 18, even though the functionality does support the Noble Pro and the MB4, and there will be a few little caveats in it of maybe it's not got the very latest firmware for the MB4 or the Pro, but this is all going to change in future updates. And it's just so much easier to use. So let's crack on with video.
Right, so first thing we're going to need to do is browse to flysky-cn.com, and I have been told this is going to be available under the Noble Pro and MB4 tabs, but for the minute we need to go to the Paladin 18, we need to go to Downloads and Upgrades, scroll to the bottom, and then we want the Download Flysky Assistant v3, and then in your desktop, if you right click, create new folder and just name it Assistant v3, just so you know where everything is, and we can click download and then it'll pop into here. Then what we need to do is show in folder. So we're done with the web browser, and I really like the fact that we've got a proper executable file and there's no messing around with WinRAR or anything anymore. So double click on Flysky Assistant. You will get a UAC prompt if you're on Windows 10 or 11, and then you'll get this open up. So we're now done with that. So leave the tick in the box to create a desktop icon, click install, and it'll run through, and then you can leave a tick in the box that says launch Flysky Assistant, and you'll get this little icon that you can launch it from. So if we click OK on that one, and then what we get is this connecting to server. Now what you will get the first time you log in, it'll ask you to create an account, and you will have to use, I believe it's either mobile phone number or an email address, and it will send you the two-factor authentication code to enable you to log in. It just makes it a lot more secure. And don't worry if it seems to take a long time to connect on this Flysky or upgrading the servers and everything, so it'll all be a lot quicker eventually. But while we're waiting for that to connect, I'll just cut to a quick video and show you how we've got everything connected, so you know how to connect your MB4 or Pro up to your PC first.
Right, so what we're going to want is your controller. So for this one we've got the MB4, and we've got it bound up to the FGR12B, and we've just got that running off a battery pack, and we've got it plugged into his PC. So now we need to get the Flysky Assistant running.
Right, so with our MB4 connected, you get a picture of the device you've got connected, pops up here, online device settings. So if we click into that, you can see that we've got the MB4 hardware version 1.2, firmware version 2.0.100, tells you your RF firmware, and then you've got firmware update. On the receiver side, because we've got it bound to a receiver at the minute, you can see it's an FGR12B, hardware version 1.3, firmware version 1.10. So from the receiver, and this is what I really do like about this assistant, no more downloading different software and getting it to run on PC and jumping through hoops. You literally just have your MB4 or Pro plugged into the PC, connected to the receiver that you're actually wanting to update. So we can go to bind force update. You'll hear the MB4 sort of Vec2 noises. Then you've got a downgraded firmware available, but we've also got a new firmware, 1.12. So if we select 1.12, you can choose which one you want. It says backup model data in case you get any errors or anything, and you can download the instructions for it. But once you've got it chosen, so we want to upgrade to 1.12, so we press continue, and then it will automatically go online and download the new firmware for that receiver. You'll then get instruction on your MB4 saying do not operate the remote control during wireless download. So now it's automatically put the receiver into update mode, and it's now updating the receiver without having to do anything at all, which I think this is just absolutely fantastic. So now says we're updated. So what we've got to do now, you've got the light flashing on the receiver, but it's been updated, so you can power it off, power it back on, and once they're updated you do have to bind them again. So you just power off your receiver, power it on with the bind button held down, and then on the MB4, if we go to bind set, enhanced and bind, and then that has fully bound back to his MB4. So let's refresh devices. And we've now got a software on his receiver updated without having to download any other software. Now, another nice touch we've got on this one. So we need to turn off the receiver now because we're going to read the memories from the MB4. So it'll come to this page, so you go load TX, and what this is doing is reading all the model memories you've got on your MB4. So you can now tick that box, select export, and then we're going to go to his desktop. Then we want to go in Flysky Assistant v3. Now what I would do in here is right click and then new folder. And then call it backup. And then we can go into this folder, and that's the file you're going to be saving. So we then select save. And I must admit, this is a fantastic upgrade on the separate versions of receiver updaters, MB4 updaters, having to use WinRAR and WinZip to extract. It's just a really nice all-in-one package. They are working on some speed optimizations for it to speed it up, so in later versions of this version 3 it will get a lot faster. But at the minute, I'm just really impressed with how everything is now all in one program that you just double click the exe to install. It just makes things a lot more convenient. So basically, that's just read all the memories. So if we look in the assistant folder, then in backup, we've got all those model memories backed up. So if you want to update your Pro or your MB4 with it connected, and we've got no receiver connected at the moment, so we can go firmware update. Now it will warn you that some updates can remove all your data, and it'll give you the option to back up, but we've already done that. So we can now click update, Now it gives you the versions of software you can update to. So these are being added to all the time. But basically all you have to do is select the firmware you want. I'm not going to do any of these because we're already on the very latest one, which is 100, that's not been added to this yet, because this has just been rolled out mainly for the new Paladin update. But it is nice that we've got the options of using this with the MB4 and the Pro. Basically you just select what update you want and click continue, and it'll just update your MB4 or Pro for you. You can back out of it at any point, and then if you want to restore your memories after you've done the update, so we can browse to as file in Flysky Assistant v3 backup, click open, and then it'll read the file and then it'll populate it, and basically you can so these are all your models, and you can just click import and it'll just load all that data back into the program. Then you can select one at a time, or you can select all the lot. And then you click add and it'll swap them over. So basically this is what it's going to do. So one of these will be the actual TX list, what's on it, and then it's what it's going to put on it. You can press reset to zero them all out. Just press OK and it'll copy them all back to your controller for you. But again, it's just such a massive step forward, just having a single program that can back all your software up. It can do all your updates. If you've got a receiver bound to your controller, it can go through the controller and update the receiver, but it gives you an option of what firmware, which is really, really nice. On the main page of it, which I'll show you in a moment. So that's now back to all those controller settings, or sorry, restored all those controller settings back to the controller. If you go on the home page, you get a lot of frequently asked questions. You can give product feedback. So if we jump into frequently asked questions, these are all being populated all the time. Product feedback. So if you've got a problem, you can list what you've got a problem with, what firmware version, what question type it is, add attachments, choose how they're going to reply to you, which is all fantastic. But yeah, definitely really impressed with it. This tab you can drop down. So we've got information, which is your own information. You got your password, so update the password that you've got. Change your email address to get the verification code. Update will automatically update the software, so you can click this and it'll download the latest version for you. Contact information with all the QR codes, how to get in touch with Flysky. And then log out, take you back to the login page. This is the first page that you'll get to, and you need to register for it. So you need to input an email address, and then once you press get SMS, you'll then get the number to put in there that'll then let you register. And I believe on the registration page you can, I'm sure it's a phone number that I put in for mine, so it sent me the SMS phone, little sort of two-factor authentication number if you like, to allow you to register. But yeah, hopefully this is going to make it a lot more user friendly, and it's a lot less messing about with the controller, especially for knowing where to download the updates from and everything, how it just fetches all the updates for you. But just a quick look at the Flysky Assistant v3. So let's wrap this one up.
Right, so hopefully that's giving you a good first look at the Flysky Assistant v3. I think the version we're currently running is 3.02, but there's a lot of optimizations that Flysky is working on. So they are going to work on the time it takes to log into Servo when you first get onto it, and generally speed it up a lot. But it's definitely a massive step in the right direction. So guys at Flysky, absolutely spot on. It's really what's been needed, because I know some of the update processes and knowing which file to download and where to get it all from, it kind of confuses people and puts people off a little. This is just one nice program that implements the receiver updaters and downgraders, the firmware updates for the Noble Pro, MB4 and the rest of the controllers, but also gives you multiple versions to choose from. But you're not having to think, is this software compatible with my controller? If it's on the list, it's compatible. Also makes it a lot easier to do the updates for the receivers, because as long as you bind the receiver to the controller, it will connect through and update the receiver for you. So it's definitely something worth keeping an eye on for the receiver updates. Is it absolutely perfect at the minute? No, there's little tweaks, but it's a very, very good step in the right direction. But hopefully you found that useful or entertaining. Please share to friends and family or anybody else you might find it useful. And don't forget to hit the notification bell. And I'll catch you guys again in the next one.